You do not send black soldiers into frontline combat. Not in 1944, not in the U.S. Army, not when military leadership believes openly, officially, that black soldiers lack the intelligence, discipline, and courage for armored warfare. The prevailing doctrine is clear. Black soldiers can serve in support roles. They can drive trucks, build roads, cook meals, load supplies. But combat? Tank warfare against the Wehrmacht's elite Panzer divisions? Impossible. The logic, according to Army leadership, is scientific. Studies have been conducted, tests administered, conclusions reached. Black soldiers, they determine, lack the technical aptitude to operate complex machinery like the M4 Sherman tank. They lack the tactical thinking required for armored maneuver warfare, and most critically, they lack the fighting spirit necessary to face German veterans who've been conquering Europe since 1939. This isn't whispered prejudice, it's official policy. It's doctrine written into training manuals. It's the foundation upon which the entire U.S. military segregation system operates. General Leslie McNair, the architect of Army Ground Forces training, states it plainly. The Negro soldier has not been capable of combat leadership. The Army War College publishes studies claiming black soldiers are mentally inferior and lack initiative. Even officers sympathetic to integration believe black troops need white leadership at every level because they cannot lead themselves. So when the Army activates the 751st Tank Battalion in March 1942, an all-black armored unit, the assumption among military leadership is clear. This is a token gesture, a political concession to civil rights pressure. These men will train, they will be photographed for propaganda purposes, but they will never see real combat. They certainly will never be trusted with a mission critical to winning the war. The 751st becomes known mockingly as the Black Panthers after their unit patch, but among white Army personnel, they have other names. The Joke Battalion, the Publicity Stunt, the unit that exists on paper but will never prove itself in battle. German intelligence, when they learn of the 751st's existence, dismisses them entirely. Why would the Americans waste combat resources on soldiers they themselves don't believe can fight? But in November 1944, in the frozen forests of eastern France, the 751st Tank Battalion is about to shatter every assumption, every prejudice, every military doctrine that said they couldn't, that said they shouldn't be there. His name was Reuben Rivers, 23 years old, from Tecumseh, Oklahoma, the son of a sharecropper who'd worked cotton since childhood. Rivers had enlisted in the Army in 1942, knowing full well what he was walking into: the segregation, the discrimination, the assumption that he'd spend the war loading crates or digging latrines. But Rivers wanted to fight, and when the Army, under pressure to demonstrate some commitment to racial integration, announced it would form an all-black tank battalion, Rivers volunteered immediately. What made Rivers different wasn't just his determination, it was his competence. While the Army's racial theories predicted black soldiers would struggle with technical training, Rivers excelled. Tank gunnery, radio operation, vehicle maintenance, tactical maneuvers. He mastered every aspect of armored warfare. By 1943, he'd been promoted to staff sergeant and made a tank commander, one of the few black NCOs trusted to lead other black soldiers in combat operations. The 751st Tank Battalion trained for 2 years at Camp Claiborne, Louisiana, and then Camp Hood, Texas. 2 years of being told they weren't good enough.
2 years of training under officers, many of them Southern whites who openly doubted their capabilities. 2 years of watching white tank battalions train alongside them, then deploy to Europe while the 751st remained stateside. The frustration was crushing. These men had volunteered to fight fascism abroad while facing Jim Crow at home. They'd mastered one of the most technically demanding roles in the modern military, and they were being sidelined. But in October 1944, everything changed. The Allied advance across France had stalled. German resistance was stiffening. Panzer divisions that had retreated after D-Day were regrouping, counterattacking, inflicting heavy casualties on American armor. The U.S. Third Army, General George Patton's force, was suffering severe tank losses in the push toward the German border. Patton needed tanks, he needed crews, he needed units that could replace the losses and keep the advance moving. And finally, reluctantly, the Army authorized the 751st Tank Battalion to combat deployment. On October 10, 1944, the 751st Tank Battalion landed in France. They were assigned to Patton's Third Army, and on November 2nd, they received their first combat orders. Patton himself addressed the battalion before their first mission. His speech would become legendary, not because it was particularly eloquent, but because of what it represented. Men, you're the first Negro tankers to ever fight in the American Army. I would never have asked for you if you weren't good. I have nothing but the best in my army. I don't care what color you are, as long as you go up there and kill those Kraut sons of bitches. Everyone has their eyes on you and is expecting great things from you. Most of all, your race is looking forward to your success. Don't let them down, and damn you, don't let me down. It was a backhanded compliment at best. Patton still operated within the Army's racist framework, but it was also recognition. These men were going into combat. They would have their chance. Reuben Rivers climbed into his Sherman tank, nicknamed Taffy 3, on November 8, 1944. The 751st's first major objective, the French town of Vie-sur-Seille, held by elements of the German 11th Panzer Division. The men of the 751st knew what they were facing. The 11th Panzer, the Ghost Division, was one of Germany's elite armored formations, veterans of the Eastern Front, experienced, disciplined, equipped with superior tanks like the Panther and Tiger. On paper, it was a mismatch. The Sherman tank was outgunned and out-armored by German heavy tanks, and the 751st, they were the joke battalion, the unit that wasn't supposed to be there. But Reuben Rivers and the men of the 751st had something the Germans didn't expect. 2 years of pent-up determination to prove every racist theory wrong. November 8, 1944. Dawn. The 751st Tank Battalion rolls toward the Vie-sur-Seille.
The morning is cold. Frost covers the French countryside. Rivers can see his breath inside the tank. He's in the commander's position, head and shoulders out of the turret hatch, scanning the tree line ahead with binoculars. The 761st is advancing in column formation. Rivers' tank, Taffy 3, is near the front. 17 Sherman tanks total, supported by infantry from the 26th Infantry Division. White soldiers who've been told they're being supported by an experimental black tank unit. Some of the infantry are skeptical. They've heard the rumors. Black tankers can't fight. The column approaches the outskirts of Vie-sur-Seille. Intelligence reports say German forces are dug in around the town. Anti-tank guns, Panzer support, fortified positions. Rivers keys his radio. All units, maintain spacing. Watch the flanks. At 08:47 hours, the first German shell screams overhead. It's a ranging shot from an anti-tank gun hidden in the woods. The shell misses, exploding in a field 50 yards to the left.
Rivers identifies the muzzle flash. Gunner, 11 o'clock, Woodline, AT gun. His gunner, Private First Class Ernest Jenkins, traverses the turret. The 75mm gun swings left. Jenkins peers through the gun sight, adjusting elevation. On target. Fire. The Sherman's gun barks. The shell tears through the tree line. A secondary explosion, the German anti-tank gun's ammunition cooking off. First kill. But now the Germans know they're here. The next 30 minutes are chaos. German forces open up from 3 directions: anti-tank guns, Panzerfausts,